Okay, guys, now here it is. Finally, we have the full Atlas passive tree reveal, and the full change logs are going to be here. If you guys want to see, it has been posted by Path of Exile, but if you can see in the description, they have a link for you, which will lead you to the interactive passive tree. So thank you very much, GGG, for that. I was so happy when you did this. I was hoping that they would have done it because it's going to be hard to think about what to go for so early. So yeah, here it is. So basically what happens is that you start off here and you have a lot of your notables just scattered basically all around. And a good thing though is that one of the most recently revealed notables, the Kolo Shestula. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm sure we'll eventually see that. We could go for it if we wanted to. As you can see here, we still have 66 points left, and you start off from 128. So meaning that we have 66 points left means that we have already completed 62 maps, completed their bonus objectives. So that basically just means that even if you just go halfway through the map, this is already what I have come up with, and I'm going to show you why. So, to be honest, I'm going to start off with a very, a very weird league start. I'm going to go with Stormburst. So, I inherently am unsure of its power, despite it performing reasonably nicely. I am still leveling it up, which we will do in a bit. We are going to go through some more maps, trying to get more levels in. But, this is going to be like a safe choice basically for any I guess like a general build, because this isn't focusing on buffing too many monsters at once. This is just focusing on this passive tree that I've made is what I feel is going to be the best for my character, because I know it's going to clear well. It's not going to be, ultra high end, so I'm not going to get the scarabs or anything, which is up here, by the way. The scarab passive is here, where you have a 10% chance to not consume scarabs, so anyone who's going to be in the high end farming is going to like that. But the good thing about this tree that I've made in particular is that I've noticed that it is very close to the higher end passives for bosses, so you don't need to change that much if you want to. It is closest to the Eater of Worlds, and as you can see here, one of the notables is that it has that the Eater of Worlds has a 25% increased chance to drop the Forbidden Flesh, so that is going to be very enticing. Like if, for example, you already scale your damage, or basically your build is already high end and you want to try and get more rewards out of the things that you're going for. So it's just immediately over here. You can just get that if you want to. And you also have the Rampant Growth, where you have increased Eldritch currency, and they have, I think, basically more monsters because it has a touching tentacle mass. I don't know what that is, but I am kind of scared to find out. So yeah. My take on this is that this is focusing on Harbingers, because we're all familiar with how Harbingers work. It is tried and tested, and this is going to get all of the Harbinger notables. So there's going to be improved Harbinger power, although they are going to be stronger by a little bit, but at least Harbingers are a safe and well-known mechanic, and I am pretty confident in playing with them. And of course, I also have Expedition here, because Expedition can give us the juicy profit that we need to either run logbooks that we want or sell logbooks that we deem as more profitable if other players run. So we can just put them on the market and then be on our way. So the main aspect that this passive tree is going for is basically just getting all of your maps to be, a little bit more juiced up. As you can see here, we have a lot of these map drops to be duplicated, so we are going to have better chances of getting more maps. So this is just going to allow us to get even more completion done. And of course, we also have the adjacent map drop chance. So this isn't like skipping on these passives too much, because that means that we are still going to have a lot of map supply to go through, and that basically means that we can just keep going without having to worry about the conquerors as much. And this is going to be fairly early in the league anyway, because this is just 62 passives, so it basically means just completing the Atlas halfway. And I think this is going to be a very, very nice addition, or like, not an addition, but a very, very nice beginner's Atlas. Because goddamn, everything else is scary. So the one thing to note here is that I'm immediately going to go for Spoils of War, because this is basically the previous chromatic watchstone, where you can get the additional basic currency item. So that's going to be nice, since we're not going to go with immediate high-end mapping anyway. We're not going to invest too much per map. We're basically going to be all can go at first, so this is going to be nice, decent chance for us to get a little bit more money. And if you ever so want to, of course, you have Supplication here. We have Secret Stash, if that's going to be your thing. So, and if you want to as well, you can go for the Kirak passives. This Atlas tree that I've made basically goes through almost everything, so that if we want to branch out immediately, we can do so. We have Ominous Arrival, which is going to be the additional Harbinger. Then we're going to go up, of course, and get the Expedition passives. One thing to note, the reason why I went here instead of down here is that you gain these minor passives, which is the increased quantity of vendor refresh currencies. So, more chances for us to get exotic coinage, astragalis, and maybe even scrap metal, which we can use to rogue craft, because I'm thinking that rogue crafting is going to be pretty nice, given that you can use the Eldritch currency. So, sounds pretty interesting. Then, of course, we have Distinguished Demolitionist, which will give us an increased explosive radius, and of course, better clear for our expedition encounters. And then next we climb up here and get the Unspeakable Offensive, and this is the new Harbinger passive, which I think is going to be quite powerful if you can scale this right, because you can see here that the Harbingers in areas will have a 60% cooldown recovery rate, so that means they are going to be using their spells more frequently, and they can summon more minions, so they will summon more minions. Harbinger summon more rares. Spoils of War will be in effect. And then lastly, currency shards that are dropped by Harbingers in areas can drop. So it isn't guaranteed, but it has a chance to drop as currency items instead. So you don't necessarily you're not necessarily gonna get exalted shards anymore. There is a chance for you to get a pure exalted orb. And of course, imagine if it drops if a mirror shard drops as a mirror instead, although 0 times 0 equals 0 anyway. So so yeah, still is pretty powerful, and of course optional. If you want to, you can just get the additional Harbinger chance, 10% more, so yeah, 10% increased chance to get additional Harby. And then if you want, you can go for Flash Breach, which is going to be a nice amount of monsters, which will of course help Spoils of War. And then once you climb up here, I am going to try and get Corrupted Gaze though, because abysses are actually, I guess what I would say, pretty more common, or pretty common than some people think. So if you have a 20% chance for Abyssal Jewels to be dropped as corrupted and have 5 or 6 modifiers, I mean, that is going to be very interesting, very powerful, very juicy. That can give us a whole new plethora of sellable items, and of course we all know that Stygian Vises are very expensive, especially if they're high end. I'm not necessarily thinking that we need to craft those anymore for profit. We can just go and look for the jewels that would be very nice to have on these specific belts. And then next we drop down here because this is a new passive cluster that I want to try out. Unique bosses will guaranteed to be dropping an additional basic currency item, and unique bosses will have a 20% chance to be duplicated. So you're gonna have more twinned boss encounters, and they will be guaranteed to drop additional basic currency. Since we are low investment mappers, or at least I am, that is gonna be pretty juicy. And then as you can see here, like I said, this is the part where if you want to branch out to get the Eater of Worlds, very, very easy, very, very convenient for you at this point. I'm just going to go down here and then get the increased effect of modifiers. This is basically all just enhancing the regular maps. And then go to Strongbox Quantity because we have a chance here to gain an Arcanist Strongbox, and Strongboxes in areas will contain duplicated currency items. So for me, it's all about that low investment. Anything that guarantees more currency, as you can see. Now here is the final area of the passive tree that I'm going to go for. Buried Knowledge, of course, because Expedition, and then Harbinger is very, very conveniently close to it. So this is where you're going to get that final bump of power if you want to. Or, you know, like if, for example, you want to do a shortcut, you can just go around here, climb up, and get the first wave immediately. But for me, I'm thinking that, you know, gaining more modifiers of non-unique maps is going to be good because that'll also inherently increase quantity, I think, still. But yeah, so that is basically just where it ends. And like I said, you know, this overall passive tree like allows you to branch out into other areas fairly easily. Like if you want to go for Kirak passives, they are here, they are just right around the corner. If you want to go for harvest, you have Bumper Crop and you have Bountiful Harvest, very, very close. If you want to go for Delve, I mean, Packed with Energy is just over there. You know, Underground Kingdom gonna be there if you want to go for more Abyss. If you want to go for Shaping the Skies, it's just close by. So, you know, this gives us a lot of flexibility in trying out other passives immediately. And yeah, this is, for me, this is the most enticing tree or passive tree combination for the Atlas. Like, you know, once you start farming more Conquerors, you can go for Marshaled Forces, which will give you increased quantity of items and Conqueror maps. Conqueror maps will have increased pack size, and the Eldritch bosses, which is the 4 new Pinnacle bosses that they're going to add, are going to have a chance to drop a Conqueror map, so you can just keep on running Conqueror maps, which is going to be, of course, the old school guys, you know, Baron, Veritania, Al-Hazmin, and Drox. And of course, here, you're also so close to getting the Conquered Conquerors, where they will have a higher chance to drop a Conqueror's Exalt, which is nice. And then you're going to have a chance to drop a Conqueror map again. And that's just unique bosses, you know. It's just basically every map that you, or even the map bosses that you go through, are going to give you a Conqueror map. And Cirrus will also have a 10% chance to drop an Awakened Support Gem. But that is going to be nice if you want to start farming Cirrus. You want to start farming Cirrus, he's just right there. And, you know, Enduring Influences here. What else? And like I said, the Eater of Worlds is just over there. He's terrifyingly close. And if you want to try some Breach, it's there. And, you know, basically everything else is just so close here, of course. You can get Amplified Energies if you want to go for some Essences. And what else? What is very notable here? Incursions are there. Heist is there. You know, if you want to get Contested Development, it's just 6 more maps away. If you want to get the Secret Operations, it's just there. Everything is just so close. Like the farthest things that are the farthest passives from this particular map are for the Searing Exarch and the Bestiary, much of the Delirium. So everything else is just basically on the other side, but I am not too worried about that. So it is just very, very nice. You know, synthesis is also here. I mean, it's just 10 maps away. And the synaptic impulses. Oh yeah, by the way, these three notables combine for a 1.5% chance to drop synthesis maps. So if you want to farm synthesis maps, going here is the next best option. And of course, you get the Maven passes, which are here if you want to start farming the Maven. I think I will actually go for this, the most toys, because this counts towards additional boss completion. So, you know, you basically get to go to the Maven's Crucible more frequently. So this gives you more chances to drop the things that are being dropped from the Maven now. If I remember, I think Orbs of Conflict are being dropped even here. So yeah, that is something that we're still gonna try and find out. So you have Blightspawn here, like, you know, just basically everything is really, really close here. The farthest things, like I said, are just these guys. So yeah, very, very interesting, very, very juicy, and I cannot wait to try this out. So I'm not gonna, you know, give out anything else regarding the passive tree, because of course, you know, other content creators are gonna be going out there. I mean, this is just my take on the Atlas passive tree, and you know, maybe you guys are gonna be at least given a little bit more inspiration on what to go for. Because for me, my opinion is that if I'm not gonna focus on the league mechanics or the Atlas mechanics anyway, I'm just gonna go for ways for me to increase my maps, because that's one thing that I've always struggled with, and this is gonna be very helpful. So, you know, like I said, the shaping areas or the shaping clusters are very close. Just there, they're just there. So, you know, whenever I feel like I don't have enough, I just run there. You know, everything else is going to be here, though. Anyway, you have the masters, although I'm not too keen on that. Anyway, like I said, Harbingers and Expedition. So yeah, that is just going to be it. We're still going to continue the stream. So, you know, I'm just going to upload this, and hopefully we can get some pretty juicy results once we can run these maps. Very, very interested. Very, very exciting. But yeah, I hope you guys are as hyped as I am. Woo! Oh my lord.